Hi, my name is Nicole, and I am the founder of ABSN, Anxious Baddie Studying Nursing. This is my first real website and podcast that I've ever created, so it's definitely going to be a little bit rough. But I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about why I decided to create this podcast and what kind of content you might find. So I am a student in an accelerated nursing program, and that basically means that I'm taking, I guess, like a course, but it's a lot of work. It's not just like some online little thing. It is an entire nursing degree curriculum, which at the end of the program, I will graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. My program is 13 months long, and I'm about 2 months in right now, and it's already been a doozy. And I actually have recorded quite a few episodes already, but because it's so busy, I haven't really had a chance to get a website set up and actually figure out how to upload a podcast. So I will be able to post some content right out of the gate, but after that, it's definitely going to be released sporadically with not a ton of organization, because at the end of the day, I decided to create this podcast as a form of helping me study. I noticed that when I would read my notes aloud to myself, I was able to get through them more quickly and stay more focused on the content rather than just getting distracted and losing my space on a page every 3 minutes. So that's really why I decided to make this podcast. I like talking aloud and, honestly, even talking to myself about concepts to help them make sense to me. As weird as that sounds, I think it's really helpful to me. So if you find that weird, that's okay. It is weird. But that's really the purpose of this podcast. And with that being said, the content is going to revolve pretty much entirely around certain aspects of my program and how I choose to study those topics and how they're presented to me by my professors as well. So I say a lot while I'm recording that I don't think anyone will actually ever listen to this. And I stand by that. But I guess all this is to say that if you do end up finding this and listening to it, I hope you find it helpful. And I'm definitely open to suggestions on any topics that anyone would like me to discuss. But as I've already said, this podcast is really for me. And I will take anyone who has a concern. I'll take that concern into consideration. But just keep in mind that the purpose of this podcast is for my own education and my own catharsis to some extent. So a couple of disclaimers to get out of the way before you might want to dive into any of the content that I posted. I have somewhat of a potty mouth. I tend to swear a lot, so this will be explicit. Given that the content is for my nursing courses, sometimes you're going to hear some objectively gross words like poop and vomit and all of these kind of, normal bodily functions that we do talk about in nursing school, because that is, what we're going to actually have to deal with when we become nurses. So a little bit of a content warning on that. And then just a couple other things. I use a lot of filler words, as many people do, especially because this is not a professional thing. Like I said a few times already, this is really a study tool for myself. And because of that, it's not going to be the most cohesive podcast you've ever heard. And it's not going to be the most cleanly edited. In fact, I probably won't even edit most of the episodes, as kind of crazy as that is. But yeah, I'm super busy with school, and I honestly just don't really have a ton of time for stuff like that, which is really the reason behind that. I would love to maybe after I graduate start a different podcast and actually, make it what I would like a podcast to be. But that's just not the cards at this point in time, quite honestly. I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but I do love podcasting as a medium. So that's kind of why I decided to start this. And, not only do I think it will be helpful to me to study, but like I said, I just enjoy podcasting. I think when I'm studying for finals and such, it'll be helpful for me to easily be able to access previous recordings that I've done and just listen to it. Just listen to myself read through my notes or read through a study guide or, talk aloud about a concept that might be confusing me at that time. This is all for me, and I know that sounds selfish, and that's because it is. The premise of this podcast is entirely selfish. So, couple last things I want to talk about in this intro is that like I said, I use a lot of filler words, and I also have a lisp. So I'm probably like the last person in the world who should be starting a podcast, but here we are. Again, I don't think it's going to matter because I don't think anyone is going to listen to this. But I do want to throw this disclaimer out there just in case anybody does. At the end of the day, I'm aware that I'm putting something out onto the internet and anyone could find it. So just a couple things I want to get out of the way with that. A couple more things I would like to talk about is I have ADHD. So often if you're listening to these recordings, I will, be very focused on whatever I'm doing. And then for whatever reason, I go on a little tangent and I digress big time. And I think that's pretty characteristic of podcasts in general. So maybe not super unexpected, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I might be going through pharmacology material and something will remind me of a medication my dad takes or something. And I might tell a story about him. And that really is just making it more bearable for me to get through the content. Feel free to skip over any long pauses, any irrelevant tangents, anything like that. If anyone ever happens to actually listen to this, I promise I will not be offended. So anyways, yeah, that's a little bit about me. And if anyone actually listens to this, then you'll probably learn a little bit more about me as time goes on. But I think for now, this is a pretty sufficient way to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy. Also, I don't think anyone will actually hear this, but if anyone does, thanks for checking me out. All right, bye.